what bonds us all, and it's the most important bond. Some of us are male, some of us are female, some of us are Christian, some of us are Jewish, some of us are black, some of us are white, some of us are this or that or the other. None of that matters because we are bonded by the Bible. We're bonded by the Bible. And that Bible is our compass. And as long as we know where we came from, everything is good, right? And that's one of the reasons that even little kids, sometimes the first thing they ask you, if you sit next to a kid on the plane or something, kid will say, start talking, where do you come from? Sometimes you start talking to adults. One of the questions adults always ask each other is, what do you do? What field are you in? But the first question is usually, where are you from? Or are you flying home is another way of asking this. We all want to know where we're from is fundamental. You've got to know that. And in a transcendent kind of way, the ultimate question is, how did you and I and all of us get to this tiny, remote little planet in a tiny little solar system, lost on the edges of a big galaxy, which in itself is lost on the edges of the universe? How did we get here? That's a really important question. And it's a question that every one of us has to ask ourselves. And that's why your children will sometimes say, where did we come from? They don't mean this powerful question because they haven't got to that yet. But adults have to ask this question. And the question you've got to ask can only be answered in two ways. One way is that by a lengthy process of unaided materialistic evolution, primitive protoplasm turned into plumbers and proctologists. Do I really need to remind you how rude it is to laugh at other people's religions? But that is one answer to the question of where we came from. There's only one other answer I know of, and that is the good Lord created us in His image and He put us here. There's nothing else. Now, some of you might say, well, what about the answer that little green men in spaceships came and put us here? I'd say fine, maybe, but it's not helpful because it only postpones the question, because now we have to ask, where did they come from? So we're back. We may as well skip the middleman and ask the question directly. Right? Simple. Friends, you understand that those are the only two answers there are to this question. And almost every other decision in life flows directly from that. You tell me how somebody comes down on that question. And by the way, if their answer to the question is, well, it depends, that means no. Right? It's like when I ask a man who wants to date one of my daughters what he does for a living, and he starts by saying, well, that I tell him, in my book, well means unemployed. Right? If you have to, like, you need more time to think up your answer, maybe date somebody else's daughter. It's not going to go well here. So you got to make up your mind on that question, because if you tell me where somebody stands on that question, I'll tell you where they stand on religion, on the Bible. I'll tell you where they stand on immigration policy. I'll tell you where they stand on national defense. I'll tell you where they stand on public education, and I'll tell you where they stand on taxation. Because there is a biblical answer for all of those questions. And it flows from whether we are children of God or whether we are children of orangutans.